This story begins with a dwarf boy named Oskar, who doesn't spare anyone from his maid to his neighbor to satisfy his lust, and ends up getting them pregnant. This story is filled with Oskar's exploits, so let's see what other antics Oskar gets up to. The name of this movie is 3 Rooms. It was released in 1979. At the beginning of the story, we see a woman named Anna working in her fields. Suddenly, a man named Joseph comes running and asks for her help to hide from the police. At that moment, Anna hides him inside her cave, but Joseph takes advantage of the situation and starts playing games with Anna inside the cave. When the police leave, Joseph comes out, and the two become friends. After this, they start living together. But one day, the police catch him. Before they can arrest him, he jumps into the water and escapes. Many stories become famous about Joseph. Some people say he drowned and died, while others say he escaped to America, came here, became a rich businessman, and is now living a luxurious life. On the other hand, we see Anna and her daughter Agnes, who are making a living by selling goods in the market. Agnes was in love with her cousin Jan, who worked at a police post office. Besides this, Anna also loved Alfred, who was a German chef. From the escapades of these three, a child named Oskar is born. After Oskar is born, he keeps crying and doesn't stop. When his mother tells him that when he turns 3, she will give him a tin drum, he stops crying. After he turns 3, when Oskar sees people drinking and dogs dancing at his birthday, he decides that he will never grow up. To achieve this, he jumps off the stairs. From then on, Oskar remains 3 years old forever. He always keeps his drum with him, and whenever someone tries to take his broken drum, he screams so loudly that he can even shatter glass with his voice. Slowly, time passes, and now Oskar is 6 years old. Oskar was neither growing up nor did he separate himself from his broken drum, and whenever someone tried to take his drum away, he would shatter glass with his voice. All the doctors were amazed by Oskar's power, but his family wanted to know why Oskar wasn't growing. We see that Agnes used to go out with Oskar every Thursday, and she would leave him at a shop. After that, she would go to Jane and engage in a wild affair with her. But one day, Oskar finds out about his mother's deeds. As this happens, several years pass, and now Oskar is 12 years old. One day, Oskar goes to see a circus with his mom and dad, where he sees some dwarfs performing. Seeing those dwarfs, Oskar's mom and dad start to think that maybe Oskar is also a dwarf. After the circus ends, Oskar meets a dwarf named Bebra, who, after seeing Oskar's talent, offers him a job in his circus. But just then, Oskar's mom and dad arrive and take Oskar with them. A few days later, we see that the shopkeeper where Oskar's mom used to leave him also slowly started falling in love with Agnes. He asks her and Oskar to come with him to London, but Agnes refuses and leaves. Sometime later, Agnes finds out that she is pregnant and that the child in her womb is Jane's. This news distresses Agnes greatly, and due to her tension, she eats a lot of fish, which she never liked to eat. Meanwhile, her husband Alfred doesn't care whose child is in Agnes's womb. He just wants to see Agnes happy. But after Oskar was born, Agnes was never happy, so she doesn't want to have this child and eats too much fish. Because of eating too much fish, she gets food poisoning and dies. A few years later, we see Oskar, who wants to get his broken drum fixed. All this was happening at a time when Germany was attacking all over Poland, trying to take full control over it.
At the same post office, the police were preparing to attack the Germans. Then suddenly the Germans attacked them. In this attack, many people are killed, including a Jane. Oskar somehow survives this attack and flees from here. A few days later, we see Alfred hiring a 16-year-old girl named Maria to work at his shop. Maria took care of Oskar along with the shop. Gradually, Oskar starts falling in love with Maria. Oskar is the same age as Maria, but Maria was not sure about this. And she still considered Oskar a child when one night Alfred goes out of the city for some work. Then he goes near Maria's daughter and sneaks into her embrace like a mouse. And he starts sniffing and drooling. Maria also enjoys doing this, so she doesn't scold Oskar. Gradually, Oskar starts getting closer to her. But suddenly one day, she finds out that Maria is having an affair with Alfred. And Maria loved Alfred very much, but Alfred was just using her. Maria is very upset by this and starts crying. Taking advantage of this moment, Oskar comes to her and thinks of taking care of her. But Maria gets very angry and calls Oskar boy and kicks him behind the back. A few months later, we see that Maria was going to become the mother of Alfred's child. And Oskar wanted to kill that baby, but Maria does not allow it. A few days later, Maria gives birth to a boy. Everyone is very happy upon the birth of that child. But Oskar was not happy at all despite giving all this, because he felt as though the child was his own. On the other hand, we see Oskar's friend Barbara, who was working in a high-ranking position in the Nazi army during World War II. Then one day, he asks Oskar to join his team. These people were going to perform in Paris. By joining these people, Oskar showcases his talent to everyone. While working with them, he falls in love with a girl on his team named Rosbita. Now, many days pass by. Oskar was very happy with his new friends and was living his life on his own terms, doing whatever he wanted whenever he wanted.